After what seemed like an age, Game Week 24 is finally over, and in today's video we're going to be covering my team selection ahead of double Game Week 25. Now, before we dive into today's video, of course, if you do enjoy any of the content that you see on the channel, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. As you can see right now on screen, we did finish with a slight green arrow up from 33k to 30k. Of course, if Liverpool didn't concede in the final minute of that game, we would have been around 26. So it's a little bit disappointing, but hey ho, I still think we're in a pretty good position. Overall, a pretty decent week to say we took a -4 as well. Chris Wood banging in a hat-trick, you love to see it. Munoz, one of our star players, and obviously Slot. It didn't quite work out the best for us, of course. David Moyes owners and the people that went for TC Salah have absolutely cooked up this game week. Now let's go and take a look at some of my transfer targets and of course all the projected data you need for double game week 25. Now I would just like to point out I am filming this section of the video before the Liverpool game has kicked off. Obviously we've got the team news and we know that Trent is benched, so I'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the video. But of course, starting off in this section, we are going to talk about the projected goals and clean sheet odds from Rob T FPL. Make sure you're going and following him on Twitter. Absolute legend for putting this stuff together every single week. He also does the Champions League projections as well. Just an all-round absolute legend within the community. So as we can see here, Liverpool's projected goals in both of their games are looking pretty decent. So any sort of investment into their attackers that we already have, defence is going to be pretty worthwhile. And obviously, if you're thinking about playing that assistant manager chip on Slot as well, could also be a worthwhile gamble with, you know, high quality chances of projected goals. You're getting 2 fixtures as well with decent clean sheet odds in both of those as well. So why would you not go for it? I think as well with these projected goal numbers we are seeing for Liverpool as well, I do think that makes Mohamed Salah easily the best captaincy option this week. Again, maybe if you've still got that triple captaincy left, could be another week to potentially go and play at him there as well. So could open the door up for that one, again, with pretty decent projected goal numbers in both of their fixtures. Obviously, Bournemouth have got pretty decent numbers as well with their good fixture against Southampton. So I know a lot of people are looking at their midfield trio at the moment and which one do you go for. Aston Villa as well, across both game weeks, have decent numbers, so any sort of investment again into any of their players, I think personally could be a worthwhile take. Obviously though, we're going to talk a little bit more about blank game week 29 and how that potentially could impact you selecting a Villa asset depending on your chip strategy as well. But across the board, it does seem like there's going to be quite a lot of goals in the Premier League this weekend. I can't really see too many clean sheets kind of coming out of this. Villa, Arsenal, probably one of Palace, Bournemouth and Liverpool are going to keep clean sheets. Outside of that, probably going to be a little bit sketchy and there's probably going to be plenty of goals involved. Like I alluded to there, obviously blank game week 29 is going to be kind of where I think some problems do arise for people that, of course, do go for Villa assets, especially with me, with my team as well. I currently have 2 Villa assets. I currently have 2 Newcastle players, 2 Liverpool players and 1 Crystal Palace player. So that, of course, would leave me in a very, very sticky position heading into blank game week 29. Now, what I actually want to happen is I would like Newcastle and Crystal Palace both to go out of the next round of the FA Cup. This would open the slot up for them to potentially play in blank game week 29. However, there is only a 2% chance that this is going to happen, and it still might not even happen if both of them do exit the FA Cup. They still could go into blank game week 33 or 36 as well, but if it happens, it happens. Great, it puts my team in a lot stronger position, but it's kind of getting shorter every single game that does pass by. So with this and my kind of strategy at the moment, I don't really want to be free hitting in 29. I want to free hit in 34 because I want to set my team up with a wild card in 30 or 31, then look to use the bench boost in 33. Then, of course, use that free hit for the blank game week in 34 and then play out the rest if there are any double game weeks with just free transfers that we've built up or kind of accrued over that period. So heading into 29, I want to go into it not using, obviously, my free hit. So I need to start, you know, shifting off Villa assets, moving away from Newcastle players, Liverpool players over the next few weeks as well. And one of the big problems, if I was to kind of, you know, look to invest into any more Aston Villa assets, it would mean I'm a triple up. I'm wasting a transfer this week week. Yes, I get a fixture this week as a double game week, but it's not ideal, the second fixture against Liverpool. And then, of course, they don't play in blank game week 29. So for me as a strategy, I'm actually not going to be getting any sort of kind of additional fixture with that. So maybe if you are looking at bringing in any Villa assets, and of course if you are thinking about not using a free hit in 29, yes, on paper right now it looks like you're getting a double game week, but in fact if you're not planning on using that free hit chip, like I said, you are actually going to just still be pretty much level. So do bear that in mind when you are potentially lining up your transfers for this week. Obviously it's got a big impact on my team as well, and which way I'm potentially going to be swinging on that one. And let's move on then. Let's take a look at the players that I am thinking about bringing in. Obviously, I covered these two in my transfer target sections. Digne is there, again, just for that double game week if I did want to go for it, maybe take a gamble. But I think the sensible option is to go for Huijsen. He obviously has a fixture in 29, a decent fixture where I need a defender this week as well in game week 25. As we saw from the Rob T FPL data as well, pretty decent defensive kind of statistics coming up for Bournemouth over the next few weeks. If you remember back to some of my other videos as well that we've recorded this week or put out this week, the 11-5 data as well is looking really, really strong for Bournemouth. They've also been one of the best sides for XG conceded over kind of the past, I would say, 10 to 15 game weeks as well. So I think any sort of investment into the Bournemouth side is going to be worthwhile. And if we have to delay as well the wildcard till game week 31, they do have a pretty decent fixture in game week 30 as well. So it's not like he's not going to be played. This guy's going to see plenty of minutes within my side as well. Of course, has that fixture in 29, which is great for our strategy. And of course, if we have to delay the wild card till 31, also has a fixture in game week 30. So I think ahead of Digne, he is going to be the right player to select. Of course, though, that is all dependent on whether or not Ezri Konsa is going to be fit and available for my side. We've not heard any updates as the time of me recording from Unai Emery. Of course, if Konsa is fit and available, we're just going to leave it. We're probably just going to roll and kind of stick with the side. But of course, if we do get an update that he's going to be out for a long period of time, I probably am going to make that switch to Huijsen. Moving on, let's take a look at the assistant manager predicted points heading into the next 3 game weeks. I know a lot of people potentially are going to be looking to switch away from David Moyes, as obviously Everton don't have a double game week anymore, and a lot of people are probably going to be lining up, do I go for Slot or do I go for Unai Emery? Now for me personally, I would be going for Slot. I see Liverpool as favourites in both games. I can see them scoring exceptionally well in both games, and I think he will probably get more points than Emery. Of course, the big appeal of going for Emery is they could easily batter Ipswich, and then of course that is that temptation, that lure of course going and getting the table bonus against Liverpool. However, I just don't feel Villa at the moment. They've obviously got quite a few defensive injuries at the back. I think Liverpool will absolutely dominate them, to be honest, in terms of that midweek game. So for me personally, if I do have a free Liverpool spot available, I would rather go for Slot and then obviously switch to Arteta the following week as well with a decent fixture for him in game week 26. That's probably the plan that I would go for there. However, if you do fancy a gamble on Emery, his points aren't too bad, to be honest. As you can see, the predicted points are higher than all the other single game week managers. So if you can't get Slot, obviously through kind of bank, or if you've got already 3 Liverpool players in your side, then I think Emery is a fine switch to go for. You're still getting a double game week, so you might as well go for it. That was the assistant manager chip and all the data heading into this game week. Now let's go and take a look at my team selection for double game week 25. Wasting no time, let's dive into the team selection then. Starting off first with our goalkeeper, defenders and assistant manager. Of course, we've got Arnie Slot in there for the double. Playing that chip last week has worked wonders, to be honest. To get a second double game week out of Liverpool is absolutely stupendous. So we played the assistant manager chip for me at the right time. Of course, I am recording this bit of the video before the Liverpool-Everton result is in, so maybe it might not have gone to plan, but for me right now, I still think with the extra double game week we're getting, it's still going to come out on top. Of course, Jordan Pickford's in there. I'm pretty happy with him. We've obviously got a fixture in 29. That's one of the main appeals. He will be coming out of the side when I do wildcard in 31. The clean sheet odds as well for Everton were around 28%, so I'm not too kind of unhappy about that one. He's definitely a goalkeeper that has proved his worth over the past few game weeks as well. Obviously, I spoke about Ezri Konsa being a potential doubt for the game. We're still yet to see what Emery has to say regarding his fitness. Of course, if he is fully fit and available, we will just keep him within the side. If he is out and injured, I do think the substitution or the transfer we will be making will be to Huijsen, bring him in for Southampton. Then, like I said, he also has a fixture in 29 and a decent one in game week 30 if we were to delay the wildcard till 31. Then we have Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now, he's on the bench heading into the Liverpool-Everton game, which which is a little bit disappointing. We're not going to get any points out of him potentially from that game, but him at least being on the bench does give me confidence that he's probably going to be available for the Wolves and Aston Villa game. So he's not going to be a transfer I do have to worry about for now. Munoz is in there. Palace actually had really high clean sheet percentage chance with a 38% chance on the Rob T FPL data. So I'm pretty happy about that. I feel that could be a pretty good move, to be honest. So I'm quite happy playing him over Hall and Aina on the bench for me personally. Got so much attacking output. Scored in the FA Cup as well on Monday night against Doncaster. Managed to get an assist last game week as well against Manchester United. If he could deliver something like that again against Everton, I'm really hoping so. Heading into our midfield, it's looking pretty strong for me. We've got Morgan Rogers. Obviously, Rogers is an interesting one for this week if you haven't already got him. He's currently sat on 8 yellow cards. Now, if he picks up 2 more, he will serve a 2-match suspension. Like I said, if you've got that, you know, not planning on free hitting in 29 as well, does bringing in Rogers make sense for this game week? I'm starting to think it doesn't a little bit, or bringing in any Villa assets. Of course, if you're not planning on using the free hit chip, purely because that second fixture just isn't as good as the first one. Even if it was, you know, just somebody else a little bit different, even if it was a City, an Arsenal, I'd be feeling a little bit more confident. But Liverpool, yeah, I just don't think it's going to be it. Mohamed Salah, top of predicted points from the Fantasy Football Hub model. Probably going to be top when the betting markets do drop as well for projected goal scorers across this double game week. It's an easy captaincy decision. Do not overthink it. Brian Mbeumo and we'll see in a second, Johan Visser is my striker as well. I'm really kind of a little bit frustrated with the Brentford pair. They are currently sat 2nd and 3rd over the past 5 game weeks for expected goal involvement. However, haven't really been delivering the goods. Hopefully, their run of fixtures coming up, they can deliver. And I think Brian's a pretty good player, isn't he? 90-minute man. Penalties, we all know what he's capable of. A lot of people are still looking to shift off Cole Palmer. Now, I won't be doing that purely for the fact he's got a fixture in 29. The fixtures in 27 and 28 are absolutely delicious. If you look at the numbers from 11FI as well around those 2 weeks, Chelsea actually have some of the highest projected goal numbers, so it could be a decent alternative captain's shout as well. So I'm going to, of course, stick with him for that one. Moving into the front line, we do have Alexander Isak, Visser and Wood. Obviously, I spoke about Visser being 2nd currently for the expected goal involvement over the past 5 game weeks. If this lad could just finish his dinner, we would be flying. Chris Wood's going to remain in there. They have a great fixture in 29 as well. Pretty much that is going to be my transfer plans for the next few weeks, as of course just focusing my team up for that game week 29 fixture, reset on the wildcard in game week 30 or 31. They face Ipswich in that week. They do have some more difficult fixtures, but at the moment it seems like the lad can't stop scoring goals, so I'm pretty happy with him. We could potentially go for a transfer out of Isak. We could very easily move to Ollie Watkins with the double. Ollie Watkins' numbers haven't been too bad. However, Isak, I think, yes, the next few fixtures are really difficult, facing some of the best sides in the league for XG conceded. However, I'm not overly concerned about it, just purely down to the fact how attacking Newcastle have been from an XG perspective and how good his point scoring and data has been as well. He's absolutely electric. I could really see him scoring against Manchester City, who look completely shot at the back. Yesterday, Real Madrid had so many opportunities. Newcastle, I think, as well, will definitely get in. And I think City will feel quite dejected and probably maybe go into that game with a little bit of rotation in mind as well, because the Champions League is going to be their priority this season. They can't realistically go and win the Premier League. The Champions League is probably Pep's last chance to prove some kind of, you know, decent silverware this season, or get something at least positive out of the season. Other than that, it's probably just going to be a top 4 finish. So I think there might be a bit of rotation. I think there'll be a little bit dejected from the result yesterday. So I think Isak is an easy keep for me. On the bench, we've got Ahmad, Hall and Aina. All of these players are there if we need them, but I think the team that we've gone for is going to be a little bit stronger than any of those guys. Of course, if you did enjoy today's video, make sure you're liking, commenting, subscribing, all that good stuff, and thank you very much for watching.